What if I told you that one of Naruto's most iconic villains had a philosophy that was not only logical, but actually genius in its own twisted way? Today we're going to dive deep into the mind of Nagato, the man behind pain, and explore why his ideology about achieving world peace through shared suffering was far more sophisticated than most people realize. By the end of this video, you will understand why Pain remains one of the most compelling antagonists in anime history, and why his confrontation with Naruto was not just a battle of power, but a battle of ideologies that asked fundamental questions about human nature, peace, and the cycle of violence. Let me start by saying this is not a video defending genocide or mass murder. What we are doing here is examining the internal logic of a fictional character's worldview and understanding why it resonated with so many viewers. Pain's philosophy forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about human nature and the real-world challenges of achieving lasting peace. So let's get into it. Before we analyze his philosophy, we need to understand who Nagato really was and how he became Pain. Nagato was not born evil. He was born in a small village in the land of rain during a time of constant war. His village was caught in the crossfire between the great ninja nations who used smaller countries as their battlegrounds. When Nagato was just a child, two Konoha shinobi broke into his home looking for food. His parents, trying to protect him, were killed right in front of him. This traumatic event awakened his Rinnegan, and in a moment of pure terror and rage, the young Nagato killed the shinobi who murdered his parents. This was Nagato's first lesson about the world. Violence begets violence. His parents died because they were in the way of a larger conflict they had nothing to do with. He killed in self-defense and survived, but at what cost? He was now an orphan wandering through a war-torn land, starving and alone. This is where his story could have ended. But instead he met two other orphans, Yahiko and Conan, and together they survived by stealing food and staying out of sight. Then came Jiraiya. One of the legendary Sannin found these three orphans and decided to train them. For the first time in his life, Nagato had hope. Jiraiya taught them ninjutsu, but more importantly, he taught them about peace. He told them stories about the prophesied child of destiny who would bring revolution to the world of shinobi. He taught them that they did not have to accept the cycle of hatred and violence. They could break it. They could be different. Yahiko took this lesson to heart. He formed the Akatsuki, originally a peaceful organization that wanted to end the wars through dialogue and understanding. Nagato supported his best friend's dream. For a brief moment, it seemed like it might actually work. The Akatsuki grew in influence. People believed in their message. But then reality came crashing down. Hanzo, the leader of the Hidden Rain village, saw the Akatsuki as a threat to his power. He set a trap. He captured Conan and forced Nagato to choose between killing Yahiko or watching Conan die. But Yahiko, the one who believed most strongly in peace and breaking the cycle of hatred, made a different choice. He took Nagato's kunai and impaled himself on it. He chose to die rather than compromise a dream or force his friend to become a killer. This moment broke Nagato. Everything Jiraiya taught him, everything Yahiko believed in, it all seemed like a naive fantasy in the face of this brutal reality. The man who believed in peace the most had to die because of that belief. In that moment, Nagato awakened the full power of the Rinnegan and slaughtered everyone there. But killing Hanzo's men did not bring Yahiko back. It did not undo the pain. It only added more bodies to the pile. This is the crucible that forged Pain's philosophy. Nagato concluded that Jiraiya was wrong. You cannot achieve peace through understanding, because humans are fundamentally incapable of true mutual understanding when they have never experienced the same pain. The nations that use the rain as a battlefield never had to feel the consequences of those wars on their own soil. The shinobi who killed his parents never had to experience what it felt like to lose everything. Hanzo never felt the pain of those he oppressed. So Nagato decided that if humans cannot understand each other's pain naturally, then he would make them understand by force. He would create a weapon so devastating that the entire world would experience the same overwhelming pain simultaneously. in that shared suffering, in that universal trauma. He believed humanity would finally understand the true cost of violence and would be too terrified to ever start another war. This is where Paine's philosophy becomes genuinely interesting from an intellectual standpoint. He was not just a villain who wanted to destroy the world because he was angry. He had a specific theory about human psychology and conflict resolution. Now we come to Naruto's answer, and why it actually addresses Paine's philosophy at its core rather than just rejecting it with naive optimism. When Naruto confronts Paine, he does not simply say that Paine is wrong, and that peace through understanding will definitely work. Naruto admits that he does not have all the answers. He acknowledges the cycle of hatred. He recognizes that Paine's despair comes from genuine suffering and genuine failures of the peace through understanding approach. But Naruto makes a crucial distinction that Paine missed. Naruto understands that the goal is not to eliminate conflict or suffering from human existence. That is impossible. Human beings will always have disagreements. They will always compete for resources. They will always, sometimes, hurt each other. The goal is not to create a world without pain. The goal is to create a world where pain does not automatically lead to more pain, where the cycle can be broken not through fear, but through conscious choice. Naruto's answer is that you break the cycle by refusing to let your pain dictate your actions. When Naruto learned that the person who killed Jiraiya was Nagato, someone who had also loved and learned from Jiraiya, Naruto had every reason to give in to hatred and revenge. Pain had just destroyed his entire village. Pain had killed people Naruto cared about. But Naruto chose to try to understand Pain's reasoning rather than simply destroying him. This is not naive optimism. This is incredibly difficult emotional work. Naruto's philosophy is that peace requires people to choose to be better than their circumstances. It requires individuals to take responsibility for breaking the cycle even when they have every justification to continue it. This is why the Pain arc is so brilliant. It is not a simple story of good defeating evil. It is a genuine philosophical debate about human nature, peace, and how we respond to suffering. Paine's philosophy was internally consistent and engaged with real problems. His solution was logical from a certain perspective, but Naruto's answer, while harder and less certain, was ultimately more true to the complexity of human nature. The debate between Pain and Naruto is essentially the debate between cynicism and optimism, between control and freedom, between fear and hope. Paine's philosophy was genius in its cold logic, but genius does not mean correct. Sometimes the coldly logical solution to a problem misses something essential about what it means to be human.